We did it! My book, The Blood Sugar Freedom Formula, is now live. It's released, so you can go buy it. We also hit top new release on Amazon within 45 minutes of it launching because of what I'm going to show you in today's episode when we went over in our launch party. And in less than 12 hours, we hit #1 bestseller. And within 24 hours, we hit #1 bestseller in multiple categories. And I have you to thank you as a result. I mean, this has been a long journey getting this book to be as perfect as it could possibly be. Over a year just in the editing process, multiple years in the content creation, the research, the experimentation from my own life, from what I've learned from coaching other type 1s over the years, all of the above. And on top of that, today I actually got my copy delivered in the mail. Look at that. It's finally here. So as you can see on the cover, it's called The Blood Sugar Freedom Formula. It is me walking through step-by-step blood sugar formulas. But as you also saw in the subtitle, it is type 1 diabetes simplified, right? And that is the process that we can achieve freedom through formulas. And so today in the episode that we have ahead of us, I actually wanted to share a really intimate moment, a couple of moments actually, where I was asked a few questions about what inspired me to write this book, who it's for, what you get out of it, what chapter I enjoyed writing most and why, what was the most difficult chapter, and I even go into some incredibly personal moments that I'll be honest with you are a bit, I don't even know the right word other than dark and very, very vulnerable. So I hope you appreciate this episode for everything that it is. And of course, if you have not yet, you can join the many others who brought us to a bestseller status. You can go grab your copy. Just go to Amazon and search The Blood Sugar Freedom Formula, grab your copy, and you too can hold one of these in your hands and go through what's been over a decade of research, trial and error, and ultimately experience with living with type 1 diabetes. So today's episode, I'm going to share the recording from the launch party that launched us into that top new release and bestseller status, where I got to talk with a lot of our first time clients and people who've been following the journey for a long time. They asked some really good questions, including one about exercise and blood sugars that I think you'll find particularly interesting. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Stick around. And if you're not one of the book owners yet, you can go grab your copy while you're watching this episode as well. So thanks. Stick around to the end, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Matt's book launch. This is just such an exciting day, and we're just so excited to be here and support him. I just wanted to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to support Matt and to get to be here and buy his book. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm Tegan with Game Changer Publishing, and I'm the book launch specialist here. And it's just an honor to get to be here and to host this launch. So thank you so much all for being here. We're here for two things today. First of all, we're here to celebrate Matt because anybody who has written a book or knows somebody that has written a book knows that it is a really big process. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes effort, it takes pouring your heart into a book. So we're here to celebrate you and just say congratulations, because this is a big deal and this is a really big accomplishment. So congratulations, Matt, and thank you all for being here to support him. The next thing we're here to do is we're here to get this book to Amazon #1 bestseller. And we want this book to reach as many people as we possibly can, and that's just one way to do that. So we want everybody to get their hands on this book. So I'm super excited for this book to impact the world. But before we get started, Matt, do you have anything that you want to say?
Absolutely. And I already kind of started on this, just reading the chat, but I see familiar names in here, seeing people that I've never seen names of before. It really just touches my heart. I don't know how else to say it. The people who've been here for a very long time, thank you so much for sticking around through this process. I know this book took a lot longer than I said it was going to. As Tegan just said, this was one heck of a process, and I thought I had a book a year ago and I deleted the whole thing, started over because it wasn't good enough. And that's what I wanted this to be, was my absolute best effort, because you guys deserve that. And I'm confident in saying that this is my best effort, and I cannot wait to get it into your hands. And for all the names that I don't recognize in here, I am so thrilled that this book is already touching lives that people I've never met. And that is the grander goal behind this, is that I want this book to change lives, those who need it. When I was first diagnosed, I was unfortunately let down a bit by my medical team and the system as a whole. I know a lot of you were as well. And this book is my goal to get the right information and inspiration into the hands of people that need it. And I know that for a lot of people, this book can save their lives. So this could not be possible without all of you being part of here, being part of the Renegade community, the Renegade Warriors movement, and family and friends that are here to support as well. Definitely couldn't have done it without you. This has been a long journey getting diabetes figuring out the balance behind it. So truly want to say thank you to all of you. There's a lot of love in my heart for each and every one of you in the different roles you played in my life and in making this book a reality. So just thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really has been a passion project. A lot of you who've talked to me know the difficulties I've encountered over the last couple of years and the process that this has been, but it's finally here. And for those who are active in the Renegade Warriors, we have the Warriors Tribe Plus. For those of you who are active in that community, I know I've told you that this book's on me as a thank you for being part of our community. And so that's something that we're going to take care of and reimburse you after this as well. So thank you for being part of the journey, part of the community, part of the lessons learned through this whole process. And that's my gift to you, my thank you. So again, couldn't have done this without you guys. Each and every person here, you're special to me. I hope you know that.
Thank you for sharing. I know there's lots of great comments in the chat, and I know that we all can't wait to get our hands on this book. Awesome. I see so many people got it. Yes. Type in full name and the full book title on Amazon. And it should pop up first thing. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I just wanted to open it up for a little bit of a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for Matt about this book process, about what inspired him to write this book, any questions that you might have, now would be a great time to type in the chat. Yes, also, yes, an amazing Christmas gift. I love that. That's such a good idea. Buy one for your friends, buy one from your family member, anybody that you know might need this book. But if you guys have any questions, now's a great time to type those in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer those. Somebody asked, are you thinking of doing Audible?
I think it's a great question. Definitely thinking about it. Life's been a little bit full training for the full distance Ironman. And so that took a lot of my time before the launch. But we are looking into ways to make that happen.
Somebody said they downloaded the Kindle app on their iPad, which is wonderful. Bought for my son for Christmas. Somebody wants you to sign their book. I bet you'll have to do a book signing.
I'd love to do that. That'd be a fun event.
Somebody said, I love the cover. What was the task number 3? Number 3 was just to buy the Kindle, the hardcover or paperback version. That's why people are sending 3s in the chat. Yeah, and now if anybody has a question, they're welcome to type that into the chat. I know it's a privilege to get to have Matt on here. So if you have any questions for him or questions, I'm happy to troubleshoot too. Publish a book and become an Ironman. Congratulations to you, Matt. What a role model.
Oh, thanks, Kathleen.
Purchase several as gifts. I love it. 2 hard copies. Everybody has their hands on this. I love it. I wanted to give you an opportunity, Matt, to share your heart and vision behind the book. Maybe what inspired you to write it, what your impact you're hoping to have.
And I'll add one thing too. I know that Tegan had mentioned you guys can add questions in the chat. You can also add questions for me if you'd like. If you have questions about the book, about the process, about I don't know, whatever's on your mind. So I'm happy to answer those. We'll do kind of a live Q&A thing. But as far as what got the book started, there's 2 sides to this. One is I created a book with heavy quotation marks. It's behind me. It's the Trending Health Journal, right? So it was 5 chapters and then a 90-day blood sugar log. It was a journal. And a big word for me this year has been undeniable. So if you guys have been following the journey for a while for everything, I did a half Ironman, and I was like, I can't just stop at half. Like, you can't call yourself an Ironman. No one counts it really. So I have to do the thing that is undeniable. So now I am an Ironman. I am undeniably at that level. And with the book, I was like, I'm a quote unquote author. I put a journal together, but it wasn't undeniable. So part of that was ego driven. I was like, I got to be undeniable as an author. I don't really want that title and create an official book. But the true driver behind it, and this was a pivotal moment in my life, we ran a challenge about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. And it's a 5-day challenge. Called it the Fix Your Blood Sugars Challenge. And it eventually got revamped into the Blood Sugar Formula Challenge. And then this last year, the Blood Sugar Formula Challenge 2.0, which there's some secret bonuses you guys are going to get when you get the book. You'll see. That's a little surprise for you. But the first time we ran the Fix My Blood Sugars Challenge, I don't know what I expected, but at the end of 5 days, we had people join on a group call on Zoom like this in tears, saying that their life was forever changed from 5 days, from concepts that I thought were well known and I thought were just kind of straightforward. And people let me know that they had never heard of any of these concepts. And while they were simple, they were powerful. And people were forever changed. And I really don't know how to capture this in my words. I wish I could just show you and bring you into that moment. But seeing hundreds of people transform their lives with really what I consider to be a quick fix, and really just get the most out of their life and not let diabetes hold them back. That was the moment I knew that this needed to become a book, because not everybody's on the internet. Not everybody likes to watch videos. Not everybody likes to interact with other people. And I knew there was a huge group of people that weren't being served. And I knew this information had to get out there. So that's when the first draft started, which eventually did get deleted because I was like, it's not good enough. We got to keep going. But when I saw the transformational power behind this knowledge, when implemented, it was a no-brainer. This book had to become a thing. And that's what drove me through enormous challenges, through this process, through all the hurdles of writing a book that people run into. Nothing was going to stop me, because I knew the power that this information had. So what we did is we simplified a lot of the processes from that challenge to make it so easy a third grader could read this book and understand the concepts. One of my favorites is imagining our body playing tug of war with itself. Like, we all know what tug of war is, right? So it takes the complicated type 1 diabetes principles and simplifies it. But 2 is we expanded on them and created new versions of these formulas that I teach for blood sugar stabilization, and stuff that I've never taught anywhere else. And it's my opinion that this book will change the way that the world views and manages type 1 diabetes. And so I'm proud to say that this book is going to reach a lot further than I ever could. And that is ultimately the goal behind this.
Thank you so much for writing this book and getting this message out there. I see so many people have been able to get the Kindle. Everyone is just so encouraging. I love it. I was curious, what was the most impactful chapter for you to write?
My favorite chapter and favorite topic is on blood sugar manipulation. And actually, one of our clients had mentioned that it's not diabetes management, but it is blood sugar manipulation when you know what you're doing, right? So the reason it's so fun to write and teach is that it empowers people to take care of themselves. And a lot of times we're told you have to wait for the doctor or the endocrinologist to fix you. And that was me too. I mean, I used to have to wait 3 months to have them make the adjustment that I already knew I needed. And I was just suffering needlessly for months on end. Until I realized I can just make my own adjustments to my own medication, be my own doctor. So I think that's been the most fun for me, is seeing people realize not only that they're allowed to take care of themselves, but also to empower them with the knowledge to do so safely, right? So it's not reckless medication adjustment, which of course is important because I'm not a doctor and I can't give medical advice. But what I can do is share what's worked for me, what I've found through my research, and what my colleagues in the medical communities have been giving as medical advice in their practices. So that to me was a lot of fun, to empower others to make changes that will benefit them now and forever.
Oh my goodness, so many questions.
I know, I'm trying to read too. A lot. I
Has
love
there been
it.
any pushback from doctors, or are they recognizing that this info is needed?
Oh, that's a good question. I get this question a lot with new private clients that I take on. They'll ask me, should I tell my doctor that I'm working with you? And I'm like, it's a great question. Ultimately, yes. But the way you bring it up is important, because if they're ego driven and they want to be your savior in the medical community, do what I say, I'm the one that manages your diabetes. They get a little intimidated by you reaching out to somebody else for help, right? Because it's kind of a hit to their ego, because that means that they weren't good enough to them. And so what I've found is that 90% of doctors are excited about it because they know this is their patient taking control of their own diabetes and working towards better health, which is unfortunately kind of rare in the diabetes community, especially at a larger scale. We just don't see a lot of positive outcomes for self-management of diabetes. So most doctors are excited about it, and actually a lot of them have reached out, and a few of them we've actually worked together on projects that either have already come out or some that will come out in the future. So very exciting to see that there are a lot of doctors and endos that are open to the new strategies that we teach. And for the few that aren't, I tell my clients, just present them with the data. Don't bring emotion into it. Just show them the numbers, and the numbers will speak for themselves. And then 2 months go by, 3 months go by, and their doctors are like, okay, I guess it's working, but it was reckless, But it's really exciting to see that there is no denying the outcomes. And as long as you're nice about it, most doctors come around in the end.
Somebody asked, what was the most difficult chapter to write?
There's a chapter in the book where I revisit some really dark times in my own life. I am very transparent in this book. I go deeper than I have in most emails that I've written or social media posts that I've made, and talk about my experiences with depression, with suicidal ideation, with just horrendous PTSD, anxiety, near diagnosis of agoraphobia, which is the fear of leaving the safety of your house. I mean, it was pretty bad. And really leaning into those memories, things that I've pushed down over the years, that was difficult for me. One, because it reminded me of the pain and suffering that I went through, and to get to a place where you're actually considering ending it all, it's difficult to relive that. Even as somebody who has made it past those moments, you go back and it's just a very dark place. But in addition to that, I had to be okay with whatever judgments that may bring from the readers, from people online that see me as this guy he's not fearless. He's an Iron Man. He should be this fearless leader. And to me, I knew it was important to be transparent about that, because I know there's a lot of people that have struggled with similar things. And so it was my goal to show the real raw story that my journey has produced. There's a lot of ups and downs with my story, and high highs, but also low lows. And so for me, revisiting those memories was painful, but necessary to drive the point home that really anyone can do this, but also no one's perfect, even if they look that way on the internet, right? And I wanted to make sure it was clear that I still have my own struggles, both with diabetes, but also with mental health. And it's okay to struggle. That's part of the human experience.
Thank you for your vulnerability in this book. Yeah, somebody said, thanks for sharing, Matt. You're amazing. I see there's at least one more question. So somebody said, do you have any tips on exercise and managing our blood sugars? I seem to have rebound hyperglycemia a lot. At least I think it is. Thanks.
This is a really good question that we could spend hours on. I'm just going to throw that out there. But tips on exercise and blood sugars. Top tips. Number one, try not to have any active insulin on board from a recent bolus or correction. Exercise tends to make that work faster and go further, so it produces low blood sugars, and that's something that nobody likes. Second, though, is being strategic about the surrounding variables. And the book goes like way deeper in all of this, but understanding what this is going to do to your blood sugars, not only now, but also in the future. Prime example, today did another Ironman workout. For some reason, I'm still doing these things. And so was out there for an hour and a half just running. And during that run, blood sugars started going lower. I had to consider that, take food for it, make sure I made adjustments. But after, there's a continued impact from an increase of insulin sensitivity, and especially if it's different types of workouts. So anaerobic versus aerobic, there's weightlifting versus running. There's a lot to consider. So I think the third piece to this is to give yourself grace, because it is really tricky at first to manage blood sugars with diabetes. And even as somebody like me, an expert in this field, I still have days where I'm like, whew, that was weird. That was hard. I don't know what the heck just happened there. So giving yourself grace as you learn, right? And the key there is to learn. You're going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are going to repeat until you learn the lessons that they're trying to teach you. And I think that's one of the biggest take homes that I've had is mistakes are going to happen. It's my job to learn the lesson that that mistake has to teach me. So exercise in general, it's a wacky thing with diabetes. There is a formula for it, but that formula is slightly different for each person. And I think that the best thing you can do at the beginning is to document literally everything that happened, and you'll start to notice patterns. With patterns, you assess, you can figure out what your body is doing and start making a plan of attack. So in a very quick answer, obviously I'm glossing over some details because I don't know your situation personally, but that's where I would start with it. And then obviously utilizing the strategies in the book will be very helpful as well.
That was awesome. So helpful. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you, Matt, for publishing this book and for your vulnerability. And yeah, I've really appreciated this time. So feel free to continue to buy this book, send the link to friends, send the link to family, buy as Christmas presents. Those are all awesome things to do. And I just wanted to give a little bit reminder to leave a review when you've gotten the chance to read the book. And yeah, so if you guys, thank you so much for participating. I hope everyone's been able to find it. Feel free to spread the word, because this is a really important message, and we want this message to impact as many people as we possibly can. So thank you for your time, Matt. Thank you for all of your time joining and supporting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And Tegan, thanks for hosting this and walking everybody through it. I'd be clueless. I don't even know how we're doing this whole thing, but I am so excited to get this thing out into the world, to share it with people who desperately need it, and really just to continue working alongside all of you to navigate the ins and outs of type 1 diabetes. So thank you to everybody for being here. This is magical for me as well to see your support and to feel the love, because I do. And I appreciate each and every one of you.
Amazing. Thanks, everybody. Continue to buy the book. Awesome. We'll see you guys next time. Next book.
Next book. Oh, boy.
This one's officially launched, which is awesome.
We finally did it. Oh, man. We're
Congratulations.
Here. Thanks, Tegan.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a look into the reality behind book creation, but also why I wrote this book in the first place and who it's for, and of course what you're going to get out of it. Now, again, if you have not yet bought this book, it just came out a few days ago at the time of recording this. Since then, it's hit bestseller status in multiple categories. There is a reason for that, and if you haven't bought yours yet, I invite you to go grab one so you can find out why so many people were rushing to be the first people to have it delivered to their house. So go to Amazon and search The Blood Sugar Freedom Formula. It looks like this as you search it on Amazon. And of course, the author name is Matt Vandevek. So go grab your copy, The Blood Sugar Freedom Formula. And I've got some special surprises for you as well, some stuff that we're gifting to everybody who grabs a copy of that book in the early days. So thanks so much for your support. I appreciate you. And if you're the kind of person that wants to do good in the world and help others living with type 1 diabetes, and you already have this book, I would love for you to leave a review with your honest thoughts on this book, because there's likely somebody else sitting on their computer on the edge trying to decide if they should grab this book or not. And the only thing that's going to help them to make the best decision of their life, to start taking control of their diabetes and empower themselves with the knowledge in this book, could be your review of the book to let them know it's worth grabbing and digging in. So if you have the book, if you enjoyed it, I'd love to hear your honest thoughts. Please jump on Amazon, leave a review, let somebody else know this might be worth their time. Hope you enjoy and keep up the fight.